I'm gonna have Sheryl Crow in here real soon. Yeah, of course, Mr. Stern. Just
Sheryl Crow's gonna ride the Sibian.
I wish he'd done that. He just interviewed her too, so like I wish he was still doing like having people ride the Sibian, but no, he didn't.
God, I would ride the Sibian. I'm eating a pretzel. I'm sorry. We're really doing. I'm really doing the Cum Town.
Yeah. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I made jokes about having a tiny Asian wife.
Yep. Hey there, big tits.
48 minutes of dogs barking. 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 Growl. Growl. 48 minutes of dogs barking. 48 minutes of dogs barking.
I don't know why I'm searching Giuliani big tits, but yeah, it's a.
Come here, big tits.
Come here, big tits. Your tits belong to me. Give them to me. I want to claim my tits. I want to claim my tits. I want to claim my tits. These are my tits. Miss Dunphy. Oh, yeah. I can only imagine that she's saying it in that voice. Oh, yeah. These breasts belong to me. Nobody else can get near these, okay? I don't care if they're flirting or they give you business cards. These are mine. You got it? Rudy Giuliani.
You know what?
A classic perv.
If I were on this jury, I'd have to see the tits.
Your Honor, are they really that big?
Are they? Is it enough to make a man act up like this? I'm just trying to figure out here. Is this?
Yeah.
Like I'm just trying to understand the reasonableness of this man's actions.
Right. Yeah. Does it rise to the action of like being?
They are that perky. Okay. Yeah. I don't know. I think he's still guilty. I think it's still around.
And he has to call like an expert witness, so he gets like somebody who works at fucking Hustler magazine and is like, yeah, there's some pretty good tits.
There's a guy. Here's Joey Campesino here. He edited our July P issue.
Right.
Or is that Penthouse that has the P?
I don't know.
The only porn I could ever find growing up was like German fat porn. So.
Oh man, Chérie and Oui, the two French Canadian porno magazines were the ones I would always wind up finding.
It's terrible.
Yeah, Chérie, at least the ladies were cute. But I
always felt like French or French Canadian porn magazines would be called things like the Brasier.
La Brasserie, yeah.
La Brasserie.
Home of the tit.
Home of the tit. And like
that's an old Frank Zappa.
And like
too.
The guy who manages like the letters to the editor is always like grilling in like the snow with like one of those big like with like a coonskin cap on, and he's got like a Molson in one hand.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know, man. 2 chicks at once is always pretty cool. I want to turn it down. You know what I'm saying? Don't be a hoser.
Yeah. Brian, welcome to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking. Part 1 this week.
Part one of our personal pain Olympics.
We're doing a doubleheader tonight because I'm going to be out of town.
Ass to ass.
Yeah. I'm going to Minneapolis.
You're going to Minneapolis to see how much you can take on the Sibian.
Me and Baba Booey are going to ride the Sibian together. Yeah.
This is for you, Bob Roya.
It's been 10 years, man.
10 years. 10 years. A guy who I did not really like.
Right.
Then he died, and I was like, oh, God, the people that are taking the vacuum he left are a million times worse.
Yeah.
And I'm really...
The devil kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bob Royer, folks, was a local eccentric type.
A crank, if you will.
A crank. He was like if Mickey Rooney listened to chess records and did bad speed.
Yeah, that's pretty accurate.
And he had a show on KHX called Bob's Scratchy Records.
Oh God, yeah.
Which everyone made lots of jokes about. And I felt kind of bad because I dated his niece, who was also an intern at KHX.
Was she nice at least?
She was great.
Okay,
good. I fumbled that bag.
Yeah.
But he was kind of, St. Louis has a problem of like kind of blowing people up past like their real perimeter.
Yeah.
I think we kind of gilded the lily with Bob. I think we kind of ruined what made him great.
Yeah.
In a way of perception. But I worked a job where we listened to a lot of KHX in 2013 before his death. And so we always listened to Hess's show. What was that called?
Space Parlor? No, I'm sorry. Afternoon Delight.
Afternoon Delight. So you would hear like a French band doing like a Black Sabbath cover.
Hell yeah.
At like the wrong BPM. Oh, he just had these great obscurities. Mr. Hess's, Mr. Jeffy.
Yeah, he does our intro song, by the way.
Yeah, we should always honor him.
Yeah, for sure.
It'd be Afternoon Delight and then Bob Scratchy Records. And I mean, like, Bob would go on the things about like a Long John Silver's on Hampton, like fucking up his order. And like, I guess just had like, he just really could get real curmudgeon-y. But in the months before his death, there was a different tone to him. And it seemed like wherever he was in his life, he was about to turn a corner. And I don't know if that was in a personal way or an artistic way. We'll never know what was going on there entirely because, unfortunately, 10 years ago today, he was moving into a loft apartment downtown. As I'm made to understand that the freight elevator that they were using wasn't properly lit. And Bob thought he was walking into the elevator when in fact it was not at that floor, and he fell to his death. And it fucking sucks. Like, and to know that some real like St. Louis ass motherfuckers in the good way were there helping him, and they had to see like fucking, probably like their Roshi, their old teacher, this guy that was kind of guiding him along. And Bob was to a lot of musicians of different genres of music, different callings, a lot of different artists. He was a sort of person it could be a touchstone. He was someone that could show you the ropes or give you inspiration. People, he would give instruments away to people, and be a cherished part of their ensemble. And,
people would get their photograph taken by him and frame them and put them in their homes, because it was a whole thing. But I mean, he was even an influence on other KDHX DJs. I was working there at the time, or volunteering there at the time, and I definitely could tell a lot of other hosts drew from that well of experience that Bob had about how to hit the post, or like how to do great transitions, or just be a complete weirdo on the air. And he always sounded like he was having fun, regardless of what insane stuff he was doing or talking about. So
he had bass amp on there, and I mean, there could be, he'd have some really great guests. He had the
bass amp has his own show now.
What's that?
Bass amp has his own show now.
Yes, he does. A couple. I think he had the guy that wrote the book "I Hate Myself and I Want to Die." He had him on there one time. That was a great little interview. Yeah, we really lost something special, and I always feel like kind of a huge asshole because a few times I did talk to him, I didn't really give him the full respect I should have. I kind of regret that for a lot of different reasons, but I think for all the faults of St. Louis, the many faults of the music scene, people did really come together to memorialize him. And really, we all should be so lucky that we even get like half of that when we go.
That's true. You want to have fun?
Yeah. So how big are your balls there, Jason?
Well, not as big as this guy. A guy named Kyle Gordon. He has decided to release a fake single for a Europop dance band that is not real. He calls himself DJ Crazy Times.
Oh, your computer's making all the sounds.
So it's a very by the numbers 90s 2000s era Eurobeat song, right? Including the needlessly aggro guy talking about bass. Life, it never die. Women are my favorite guy.
This is like remind me of like waiting for my first girlfriend to be like done shopping at Gadzooks.
Yes. There's a very specific time and place that recalls. And yeah, so his character, DJ Crazy Time, he's been doing this for a while, apparently. He's well enough known that people are like, oh,
this is psychic damage. Like this is
really in a good way, or I mean,
both. Like it's one of those things where like this is like it's impressive that he really has gotten the cringe and all of the other things about this nailed down in the artistry. I'm not so great that he did it.
I mean, even the video, which is where it kind of started, was on TikTok. Was this really like if you've seen a non-Barbie girl Aqua video, you've seen this video
or
before.
like Toy Box or something.
Yeah, or God, I mean. Eiffel 65. Like, I mean, you could go through all the different ones, but yeah. So his alter ego is DJ Crazy Times, and a singer who goes by Miss Biljana Electronica. So apparently the song was set to come out on August 22nd, but due to the popularity of the TikTok and whatnot, the release date is getting pushed up a week. So we're going to get that on the 5th. The full version of Planet of the Bass is coming out August 15th. I think what really gets me about it is that you could have told me that was a real song that came out.
If you just played the music, I think the video kind of tells on itself.
A little bit, mostly because of where it takes place. The video is shot in the Oculus, which is a mall in New York that's like built on top of Ground Zero.
It's fucking weird.
But
that's great. I like that fact a lot.
Yeah. Trying to find that because
when the second plane hit, that's when the bass really turned up.
Well, and one of the lines after.
Oh no, now I feel like I have to go home and watch like the Crazy Frog like 9/11 video.
Oh no. Well, the line after after women is my favorite guy is sex, I'm wanting more, tell the world stop the war. So, the war. What war? Doesn't matter.
The concept.
Yes, just in general. But yeah, so Kyle Gordon, highly recommended. That's a pro click for a follow there. Now you did Barbenheimer. Right? You got to see Barbie and Oppenheimer. Well, the Japanese did not find that so amusing. This, according to @Nick from Tokyo, in an attempt to get Americans to see why Japan finds Barbenheimer offensive, Japanese Twitter has taken to making 9/11 jokes, completely misunderstanding that Americans love 9/11 jokes. So here is the Twin Towers in the Barbie photo there. It says, "This Barbie is the moment." And then, of course, the next one is a Barbie on the shoulders of Osama bin Laden, and it says, "The world forever changes, Barbenheimer." I don't know. I think that's a banger right there.
Yeah, these are pretty good.
It's really well done.
These.
The color's great. I mean, yeah. So just the idea that like you could like, see, this is what you're doing, and then people are like, yeah, that fucking slaps actually.
Yeah, cool. Keep more.
Yeah, you got more. You got
more.
A whole room of guys working on these, or what's the deal?
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that maybe the Japanese take a little bit of offense to.
I wonder why, Brian.
Dropping 2 nuclear bombs on civilians in a war that was already over. Yeah, I mean,
who hasn't? It's just,
I thought Trump supporters were sore winners. Well, now I guess they're sore losers, but for a while, for 4 years, they were sore winners.
Oh yeah. So speaking of Barbenheimer, yet another weird little thing popped up. Now I believe this is AstroTurf, so I'm not going to give this very much oxygen, but someone noticed that the new Saw movie, Saw 10, or as it's colloquially known, Saw X, is going to be releasing on the very same day as the Paw Patrol movie, leading to, of course, the portmanteau Saw Patrol.
Yeah.
Fake and gay, as they would say on 4chan, but at the same time, I could not get this.
I'm trying to think what torture devices could be in a 10th Saw movie. I'm amazed that guy's still alive, by the way.
Oh, Tobin Bell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's great. I think he's like the best part. His performance is typically the best part of those films.
according to what I've read, I'm a student of the Saw films. This one is going to be very much like Saw 3, where they go back during the events of Saw 2. This is a different group of people that were kidnapped in relation to an experimental surgery that he was trying to have in Mexico. That's the hook there, is he's taking it out on the people who botched this surgery for whatever disease was killing him. I think it was just cancer, but I don't remember exactly what John Kramer was dying from, but I remember that, he blamed everyone for it.
Well, didn't he like also, I can't remember, didn't he also like kill this, like when he did have the brain surgery, didn't he kill the surgeon or something like that?
Yes, after the surgery was successful.
Did a really good job.
Yeah, that was in Saw 3. He had Amanda kill her, but anyway, that was
amazing. I'm just trying to think of what like like now that I know that it's going back
so
in time.
Yeah, John Kramer's alive.
Well, I mean, I just meant like the actor. I didn't. I'm not kept up with the timeline.
You were just.
I'm just like thinking about this. So like, try not to come.
The internet said this game would make you come in 20 seconds. Jelking for no, but the Saw Patrol memes. My favorite one is the jaw trap from the first movie on Chase from Paw Patrol.
And it's got the color grading.
Oh, it's perfect. Whoever made this, I think it was the Twitter user at ecto_fun. And my response was, of course, oh yeah, Chase was Hoffman's partner. But that's such a deep, weird cut that like Hoffman is this bad cop who shows up and he takes over when Jigsaw dies. It's a whole thing. But Chase,
I think I tapped out somewhere around 3 or 4.
And you are probably right to do so, because right around then is when things get really stupid.
Most people, I feel like, would say that it peaked at Saw 2.
Saw 2 was great. I
think
will
Saw
say
2 was great. I think the first Saw was really fun.
Yeah, it came out of nowhere, I think is really what. So yeah, you get a pretty decent cadre of actors there. You got Cary Elwes and you got Danny Glover, and so like, okay, good start. The most recent one had Chris Rock in the lead, and it was pretty interesting.
Really?
That was Jigsaw Spiral from the Book of Jigsaw. I don't know. But,
so is he Jigsaw?
Oh, is Chris Rock Jigsaw? No.
Is he a victim? Is he doing?
He's a cop chasing.
Okay,
it's very much the.
Wow, these are some really how does like this is one of those things where I'm glad.
No, he's subdued. He's very subdued in this role, so it's very unusual to see him. Yeah.
Wow, you white people just love killing each other. Gosh, if we were a bunch of hacks writing for Jay Leno, we could really make some hay
all day with that. But that was good. But yeah, James Wan. I mean, he. God, he's done fucking everything now. He's done a superhero flick. He's done tons of different horror films, but that was his big deal. It was starting with Saw, and like,
glad he's still making weird movies and DC movies I will never watch. I would rather fall backwards into the tiger exhibit at the zoo than watch the fucking Aquaman movie.
Okay. So Saw Patrol, that was the other bit there. This is something, another weird thing that is not cool Eurodance music that I found on TikTok. This is a completely AI generated channel called Luminous Tales. I stumbled upon this on my For You page. It is the most psychotic shit you will ever see. Most of them are about like, I got jail time for this, right? But this one really got me. And I posted about this a couple days ago, but it's just, Aubrey's heartbreaking story. I was raped by 100 gang members. I've been gay ever since. Yeah.
This is not the No Loads Refused cummed up I was
this is not
expecting.
Their entire channel is like that.
Yeah, I saw a preview of this, and it's like it really feels like the melting brain of someone that only watches Fox News and reads like Daily Wire.
It's not only that, but then it's like these AI generated faces and voices and like badly animated faces, and they're trying to pass it off as a real story, but they have I was gang raped by 100 gang members on there at least 3 different times. Like, it's this weird fucking like bizarre channel, and it's
and the thing that whoever's doing this, like, 20 years ago just would have been like doing really bad MS Paint Family Guy porn.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Technology was a mistake.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, the last thing I wanted to present you with was a post that someone made public to Neil Gaiman.
Uh-huh.
Now, I don't know if you've kind of caught up with this. Good Omens, the book that he and Terry Pratchett wrote, was adapted to a television series.
Heard, yeah.
Season 2 just dropped. Now, since Season 1 was pretty much the entirety of the book that existed, Season 2 is all new territory. Stuff happens in the show that you might not be expecting if you've read the book. A fan was particularly annoyed or, I don't know, maybe even hurt by this and wrote him this post. Hi, Neil. Just a quick reminder, in case you've forgotten, TV shows are supposed to save us from hurtful reality, and Season 2 had a genre hurt/no comfort. I really hope Season 3, if it ever happens, will take away no S and transform them into yes-S. I think that's supposed to be all no's and turn them into yeses, but that's really poorly spelled. I refuse to embrace cruel reality of the end of Episode 6. I even wrote a fix-it on AO3. Your heartbroken, saddened, crying fan. Lots of love and respect, though, always. Helen. So for those of you not in the know, hurt/no comfort is a fan fiction tag on AO3 that's archive of our own. And this woman wrote a fix-it because she could not handle the fact that, characters had consequences in a drama series. Okay, do that. That's people write fanfics for a lot of reasons. People do it for kicks. People do it because they want to jack off to it. People do it for a lot of reasons. But why the fuck are you telling Neil Gaiman about it? What is the point of that? Keep it to yourself. That's fine. Or tell your friends, hey, you didn't like the way Season 2 ended. I wrote a fix-it on AO3. Here's the link. You don't have to fucking put Neil Gaiman on blast publicly for it. Christ almighty.
Gosh, people like that, I wonder how they would react if they had actually watched Paper Girls and realized there wasn't going to be a second season.
Right. Yeah. Here's someone. Fandom is a cancer. I hate nerds. Art does not cater to person's specific needs. Good art should rip your head off and shit down your throat. While I may not agree entirely with that, not all art has to tear your head off and shit down your throat. Sometimes it's okay for art to do that.
Yeah,
That's
that kind of goes back to what I was saying about Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
about just because you're shown something doesn't necessarily mean it's an endorsement. You have to think outside of your comfort, outside of your lived experience.
Exactly.
I don't know what Good Omens is about. Neil Gaiman's kind of hit or miss with me.
That's the one they wrote with Terry Pratchett. It's about an angel and a demon, and they're trying to stop the apocalypse because they're best friends and they don't want the world to end because they like hanging out with each other. Okay, it's kind of
I actually kind of like that elevator pitch. All right,
yeah. If you haven't read the book, I recommend it because it's good fun. Both of them are kind of doing their Douglas Adams bit and kind of goofing the whole book, and
they're
great.
They're just riffing.
Yeah, it's great. It's two guys just trading lines back and forth, and okay, well, wouldn't it be funny if this happened? And then the other one goes, oh yeah, and then I'm going to do it. You can really feel the joy of the collaboration in that one in reading the book. And the first season really nails it. Amazon Prime has it for streaming if you're so inclined.
I will.
You got your Martin Freeman and David Tennant as your leads there, and then a couple of cameos there. John Hamm's in it. Got some good ones. Well, it is that time though, Brian. It's time for the crypto scam of the week.
You're listening to 48 Minutes of Dogs Barking, the podcast.
And now it's time for the crypto scam of the week.
Ooh, we're doing a good one today.
We are.
I've been watching this one a little bit.
So this one hit a little too close to home for me. This one is the bald meme coin. The bald token exploded with popularity for unknown reasons. I have no idea why.
I'm still trying to figure out, and I like to think I'm a little bit more tuned into this stuff than you. I haven't really been paying attention because of life things happening, but I have seen this going on. And so sometimes when there's a new blockchain or a new layer 2,
which is what this was. This was Ethereum layer 2.
So This is base.
Okay.
Sometimes the first meme coin that doesn't immediately rug or eat shit. Will go on and have crazy runs. And this did. There are people that bought $30 of bald and turned it into $150K, and now they have nothing because they then bought another token that they thought was going to go. I can't remember what it was called, but there was another sister token that is part of its contract was supposed to be like, I don't know, adding to the liquidity of bald with every transaction.
Okay, so it was like a feeder coin almost. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah, but it doesn't really work when both collapse. And but yeah, bald was kind of like, I'm trying to think of what would be comparable to it recently, like Pepe.
Okay,
where it was just like, yeah, there's so many people that like bought like $5 and turned into life-changing money. And the thing is too, also with the base layer 2,
that's Coinbase's layer 2.
Yes.
Okay.
On base, there's at least at this moment, or at least at the moment of this happening, there was no way to bridge your funds out, so you can only bridge in.
Oh, and God.
So
yeah, so even if you
but there is, but like, so say if you were someone, because I haven't looked exactly in everything the base has going on, but if you were someone that had gotten, you fucking scratched the right lotto ticket here, and you were smart and you cashed out instead of, fucking, now you've got $500 instead of 150, 150,000, I should say. There was an Ethereum pair on there, so you could have put it on Ethereum, which would have been kind of illiquid on base. But when the bridge opened, you could have bridged it back over to the Ethereum layer 1. But I don't think, people are fucking greedy and stupid. I think a lot of people probably fucking wrecked themselves really fucking hard.
Yeah, it feels like there was a lot of YOLOs getting thrown out there. The meme coin part of it is that bald itself is a reference to the fact that Brian Armstrong, CEO of Coinbase, is notoriously has no hair. CoinGecko, which is where this Decrypt article got their information, they said basically today plunged in value 92%. The token originally exploded 3,000% in a day after launch. The wallet went on to buy more bald to add some liquidity, sent a bizarre tweet seemingly tricking users to buy the token, and then removed all the liquidity again. So yeah, the at @baldbasebald is the Twitter account there, and the post is just steady lads. Like, yeah, okay, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, not great. So according to Matt Aaron, project lead at Celio, which runs On-Chain Intrigue, which is a Telegram channel where they track this type of stuff, they told Decrypt that this situation was puzzling because the wallet moving the funds was a sophisticated whale holding large amounts of Coinbase Ethereum liquid staking token. So it's very odd.
Yeah, there was some buzz, some rumblings that maybe that this was connected to Sam Bankman-Fried and Alameda.
Okay.
I don't have anything to corroborate that. It's just some rumblings I had seen on social media.
Huh.
With some tangential proof, but like, again, I haven't had the time to really look into it. I maybe have like 20, 30 minutes a day for Twitter at this moment.
Well, yeah, life happens, man.
Yeah. But I was intrigued. Like when I see stuff like this, it's like, okay, well, how did this happen?
Right.
Where is this going?
It was especially, I think the total that they said that was lost was around, what is it, 20, it was like 3,000%. So it was like 20 something million, 25.6 million in liquidity, just gone.
Amazing. Yeah.
That's a classic rug pull. I know that it's nothing we haven't seen before, but it's still like, God damn.
Yeah. And the amount of crypto influencers that I saw being like, hey, like, you're still early. It's only like, well, I don't know what circulation is. So if it had $25 million of liquidity, it could probably have been like 80 to 100 million market cap. Oh, okay, this could go billions or something like that.
Yeah, it's gonna moon or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
So regarding the Sam Bankman-Fried connection, CoinDesk was reporting it as a question, like an open question, like, oh, on-chain data shows the deployer contract has interacted with Alameda-linked wallets and was an active DeFi participant in the early days of Alameda. So there's like a a tenuous connection just based on all that stuff. So yeah, that's Sam Reynolds there at Coinbase. Yeah, so it's the on-chain data suggests interactions between the meme coin Bald's deployer contract and one of the wallets tagged by Nansen as belonging to Alameda Research. The data was cited by several blockchain sleuths on the social media platform formerly known as Twitter, and later validated by CoinDesk.
You should just call it Twitter.
Yeah, I mean, honestly. So yes, that's at Frank Researcher did a lot of that stuff. If you want to pull up his thread, it's good reading. He's saying with certainty that it is definitely someone related to Alameda. So that remains to be seen, but still a nice scam if you can make it work, I guess.
Yeah, I don't. There's just all kinds of weird shit that goes on in crypto, and it all feels very internet 1.0. Like it feels very like 90s, like before. Almost like pre like AOL kind of internet in a way. And I think that's what kind of makes it interesting to me, because you see just like weird, bizarre, chaotic shit that seems to happen sometimes without rhyme or reason. Yeah. Except it has some really deep and puzzling real world consequences.
Yeah, like I just keep thinking about like letter 409s or like Nigerian prince scams.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I can think of. Gullible people getting taken in by charming grifters, and this is a lot of these meme coins feel like the same kind of thing.
We haven't even talked about Richard Hart.
What about Richard Hart?
So Richard Hart is now being investigated formally by the SEC.
Oh,
for in my own words, basically taking around $1 billion in what was called sacrifice money for his Ethereum layer 2 pulse chain.
Okay.
And taking some of that $1 billion that he got and spending it on his own damn self. So
yeah.
Richard Hart is a guy that has some interesting ideas about money and value. He's also one of the most cringe motherfuckers. Like Timothy Leary would have fucking hit him with a fucking bent piece of garden hose until he bled from his ears.
Yeah.
But Richard Hart's a guy that like would be posting on Twitter after like, because Pulse Chain took like, I don't know, like 2 years to eventually come out.
Right.
And in that time, after people had quote unquote sacrificed $1 billion towards Pulse Chain, he would then be posting on social media of like, him like twerking in a Prada tracksuit in front of like 3 of the gaudiest custom color like Mercedes AMGs, class.
Yeah.
This is a Class E, like the one that's like the safari vehicle. I think is that.
I think that's the right one.
God, those are like one of the worst rated cars in the world.
Oh yeah, for sure. It was like a Bugatti. They're not even not that great.
I at least say like a Bugatti like says something. The Class E says like I don't know how money work.
I don't know what to do with money here.
It's someone who used to work for a business that catered to some of the rich in St. Louis. Every single person that rolled up in a Class E was one of the dumbest motherfuckers I ever met.
It tracks. Look, I'm not. Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you something. A lot of people buy luxury SUVs thinking that you can like fit shit in there.
No. So the SEC put out this press release. I just found this because you mentioned his name, and I started looking it up. And boy, this one caught me. So he was charged with fraud for misappropriating $12 million of offering proceedings to purchase luxury goods such as sports cars, watches, and a 555-carat black diamond known as the Enigma. That's the hook right there, buddy. The Enigma, isn't that the bad guy?
Really
in there?
Tracks. That really fucking tracks. Like, if you ever watch like one of his old live streams, he's always like wearing like the gaudiest like fucking Prada or like Gucci, like just the shit that's like, are you colorblind, man? Like, what's going on here, bro? But he has a really interesting story and really weird opinions that aren't necessarily the worst. I'm not saying he is a good person.
No, God, no.
But I'm saying as far as a person that you could observe with a sense of intrigue, you could do a lot worse.
Fair. I guess that's fair. Yeah.
Like he is an interesting guy.
On paper.
I think he might. Well, I actually like from like the human zoo quality. I think he's a legitimately interesting person. I do not know if I would want to sit next to him on an airplane.
No, God, no. No, God.
He's not a guy I would want to have dinner with.
No, because he probably still wears fucking Pierre Cardin or some shit.
You know, he probably would buy dinner though. He would probably be one of those guys like as a flex, and you'd be like, yeah, well, I'm broke, so you know, like yeah, all right, we're gonna have fucking truffle shavings on these sliders here.
Get that prepared by burger with the gold on the top. Yeah,
I want shit gold, but
yeah, I
want to make my dookie sparkle.
But yeah,
so fucking Richard Hart, absurd human being.
Absolutely,
one of the most absurd human now, and possibly one of the most absurd criminals.
Yeah, I love it
in crypto, folks. We love to see it.
We love to see it. The SEC doing a bang up job, coming after what I feel like are all the right people at this point. They've definitely got their targets set on some folks that they may have earned some iron handcuffs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just know that I'm going to buy one of his tracksuits from the SEC when they go up on auction.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that government auction is going to be well attended for sure.
Also a slightly melted Subway sandwich looking motherfucker and will look just as embarrassing in the $5,000 Prada sweatsuit.
But
it's okay. It's okay. We can go kill Kid Rock's midget.
That's right, Brian. Our main topic of this week. You brought this to my attention because I had honestly forgotten they existed. This was a Newgrounds. Now, Newgrounds was a website with games and comics.
Is it still a website?
It is still a website.
Okay, like you're scaring me here.
Well,
it's like with the Tom Fulp.
Did
Tom Fulp go work for Meta?
No, he's still around. Tom Fulp is the creator, the founder and sole owner of Newgrounds. So his work at Newgrounds was, Flash,
He had FDA, fuck that ass.
Yeah, that's right. He created Alien Hominid, if you remember that game. That
game made me upset. It's
Why is
a
that?
little hard.
It's difficult. Yeah,
it's punishing.
He also created the game Castle Crashers, which is still around. People are still playing that there. He was on 4 episodes of Attack of the Show. Back on what was that? G4? Was that Attack of the Show?
G4, Tech TV. God, I miss Tech TV.
Yeah,
that was some good shit.
So what we're talking about this week is a series of games created by Tom Fulp, again, creator, sole owner of Newgrounds, that was about killing celebrities. It was called simply Assassin.
Boy, looking at that little screen grab there is really sending me back to like fucking slamming Mountain Dews at my dad's place. And
so under the artfully created Assassin logo, the phrase appears: the dumber people think you are, the more surprised they'll be when you kill them.
That's a real early aughts edgelord type of dealie right there. That's you're cool, don't come to school tomorrow kind of vibe, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's the commissioner character, which is taken directly from an anime. It's taken from You're Under Arrest. I don't know if you ever saw that anime. No. But that's this commissioner character that gives you instructions. And these ones weren't Flash. These were simply HTML. So it was like you coded a image thing that you clicked on. You could click an image and have the image react. What the hell were you thinking? These things are available on the web archive, thankfully, courtesy of the Newgrounds fandom page, the Wikigrounds. They've collected all these together. That's the only reason I have gone to a fandom page in the first place. Usually I try to avoid them like the plague, but in this case, that's where you got to find all these.
Ever since you got banned from No Mutants Allowed for saying that Fallout 4 was good.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But looking at this...
No, it's not. It's one of the worst games ever. Anyways.
I know. But looking at this laundry list of late 90s, early 2000s targets, oh boy, what do we got here? Oh, Jonathan Taylor Thomas. Rush Limbaugh, Bill Gates, the Olsen twins, Snoop and Tupac. Why? Tupac was already dead. Macaulay Culkin.
But what if we live in the timeline where he's still alive in like France with the dude from The Doors?
I can only hope. Macaulay Culkin, for some reason, although again this was late 90s. Why would you still have beef with Macaulay Culkin? Barney, okay, all right, that one kind of makes sense. Marshall Applewhite, we talked about him in the the Heaven's Gate episode. Jenny McCarthy, who was just a minor TV star from being on a game show on MTV, right?
It was like they're like dating game.
Right, Spice Girls, okay, everybody hated the Spice Girls. Leonardo DiCaprio, Furbies, Bob Saget, Hanson, Saddam Hussein, 2 different versions of the Backstreet Boys. Pikachu, the hamster dance hamster. Okay, that one's justified.
That one, if I remember, is just the hamster dance, and if you hover your mouse over them and you click, like they blow in half.
Yes. Yeah, a lot of these are just that. Like like the Taco Bell dog, if you remember the 90s era Taco Bell commercials. It had the let's see here. Jigglypuff, Madonna. Just some of these are like, why would you want to, like, I get wanting to like put one through the head of like Hanson or like like Jonathan Taylor Thomas. They were everywhere and they annoyed the shit out of you. Insane Clown Posse. Well, come on. It's just clearly not a juggalo here. And the cast of Survivor.
Classics.
And Kevin Federline, better known as K-Fed. K-Fed.
So can we still play these?
Some of these you can. K-Fed Dancing with Fire is still around. If you go to this page here, and you can beat up K-Fed with a bladed glove.
Great.
Yeah. Sick of Kevin Federline. For those of you who don't remember who Kevin Federline was, he was a dancer who Britney Spears married, and he decided he was going to have his own insanely bad music career with a song called Papo Zao, which translated to boy ass. Because he did not.
I thought it was Papo Zao.
I don't even know how to pronounce it, but yeah, it's spelled Papo Zao. But wonderful Flash intro here. Some real good artwork, but yes. We're going to go ahead and play the K-Fed one for you. Here he is running.
Wow, this is much better than a lot of the other Assassin.
Yeah, this is probably one of the more recent ones. So there's different things you can move the mouse around and give him an uppercut or a certain hit. Like there's a story mode to it. Brittany pulls up with K-Fed and drops him off at the club. Okay, here's.
That's right. Fuck him up. Punch him in the neck. Kill him. Kill him.
And you can.
Oh yeah. That's the problem with Flash games. You get too excited and you accidentally copy the whole page.
So, I mean, complete with health bars and different mouse movements you could do. This one's actually really good. Kevin Federline, by the way, wearing a hat that says "Dick." Mm-hmm. You also can kick the shit out of Britney Spears and her baby in this one.
Wow. Amazing. This is.
And he hides behind Britney as you try to
fuck her up.
Yeah. And if you hit her with the left cross, the baby goes flying. Just. Yeah, this one has a charge attack thing where you can. I mean, it's absurd. I'm just sitting here clicking the mouse and Kevin Federline is getting a giant swollen black eye. What an odd thing. Like, people react to celebrities in a lot of different ways, but Tom Folk took it to a degree where it was like, this is almost.
Didn't CNN do a piece on this?
I'm sure they did.
I'm sure Fox News did. Like, are your children at home killing Kid Rock's midget?
Yeah.
Next thing you know, they could be voting Democrat.
Yeah. Let's see if I can find it, because let's see here.
We're going to watch Assassin Kid Rock.
Yeah, the Assassin Kid Rock. There's Pico.
Oh yeah, Pico was great. Those games are kind of. Last time I tried to play them, it was really tough because Flash was running too quick. Back when Flash was still a thing.
Yeah, well, one of the Pico characters did star in a regrettable Flash game about a school shooting called Pico's School.
Oh yes, I played that a few times. You know what? I'll say that as a A time capsule is a very interesting bit of media. I'm not saying it's good,
1999.
but you do start by killing the bear in the big blue house or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
And then it becomes kind of like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah. And apparently the character Pico does appear in a relatively newer game called Friday Night Funky, a riff on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise, but is a rhythm game. So yes, regarding Pico's school, Tom Fulp, 21-year-old student from Pennsylvania, is running a personal website where he posts various Flash things, mostly gory interactive animations like Club a Seal, which had several entries, and the Assassins series.
Oh, that was exceptional.
Got a cease and desist from the BBC because of Teletubby Funland, with a series featuring the Teletubbies doing drugs and having sex.
I do remember this.
Yeah, so a lot of Newgrounds content was violent. A lot of it was
This is very crass.
Yeah, I mean, there's
vulgar. The amount of like anime games and weird like ROM hacks that you could play, and
oh god, yeah, DDR ripoffs and like all these different, and then yeah, there's some gameplay from Alien Hominid, still probably a highlight of Tom Fulp's career. But just Assassin itself was just odd. Here is someone writing about it on Newgrounds as it stands today. It was the mid-90s, the dawn of the web. For the first time ever, the people had access to create and share media across the globe. I was in high school at the time and used the limited features of HTML to make games where you click on celebrities to make them die in all sorts of horrible and comical ways. This has to be Tom posting about himself.
I'm guessing,
there.
yeah.
Then Flash came along, originally made for interactive media versus outright games, not even having support for variables. Clicking buttons to make animations play was one of the only things you could do. Shooting galleries were a natural outcome, since they require clicking things to make stuff happen. Celebrities in pop culture were an easy target because they represented the establishment, and the web had lifted the barrier for the rest of us. Many of these games haven't aged well. Yeah, no shit. But they were a fun way to blow off steam back then. Unfortunately, most of the early Assassin games were deleted in a 2012 site redesign, and an old bunch of files have been cleared out. But this here is a list that Tom put together. K-Fed, Dancing with Fire, which we've done. Go Away by Dustball. Chris Crocker in a Blender. Chris Crocker, Jesus Christ. What a micro niche celebrity to be doing this here. Kill Justin Bieber. Celebrity Terrorist Alert. Pepsi Girl Wheel of Death.
Oh wow, I remember this. I remember this.
Yeah, there was an ad at Pepsi ran with this cute girl in it, and people got mad for some reason. And so you click a button and a gun loads with a V8 juice that's gonna,
and you just shoot fruit at her.
Yeah, that's. And just hold, and then
there's
the
a watermelon,
and get in there.
Get in there, you motherfucker. That's
Boom.
right.
Yeah, it's absurd. It's an absurd game. But the old HTML ones were even funnier because they were just like mission briefing. Hansen, they have tormented us for long enough. It's time to end this. And so you're given the your weapon, the MF-187 retardator. That's all I can.
God, the humor, is just it's aged like milk.
Yeah, for sure. So you click into the Hansen game, choose your target. I'm gonna go ahead and say Ike.
Isaac.
Okay, click on Ike to fire an ERB into his head. And then the crudely drawn MS Paint bullet wound, crossed eyes, and drooling mouth. He seems smarter and more attractive, and it only gets better. Click on Ike to detonate the bullet. Yowzers, what a mess. Again, poorly drawn, MS Paint, blood coming out of his mouth.
25 years ago, this was bleeding edge.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then, choose your target. It's absolutely absurd, although the Rush Limbaugh one was pretty funny. Rush Limbaugh, There isn't a need to do a briefing on this guy. If you're here, you're most likely to kill him anyway. Your weapon, poison pastries. Rush loves to eat. His obsession with food shall be his downfall. Sadly, he was like 20 years early on that one, but...
it is disappointing.
Let's feed that fat boy. All right, click on him. Oh, crap. There wasn't enough poison. Shoot him. I'm like, all right.
Oh, man, the cigar didn't work. All right, I'm just going to...
Here we go. The poison is dimming his senses. He doesn't feel pain. All right, let's get him. We're going to throw him off this bridge. Okay, let's... and then... Oh, the water below is frozen. Dig a hole in the ice. Okay, all right, click here. All right. This is taking forever.
Gosh.
Finally, we can get on with our lives. This one got really carried away to the point of being stupid. If you thought this was nutty, just wait and see what I do for Snoop Dogg and Tupac, which, again, at this point, Tupac was already dead. So it's kind of a
not
weird...
that early internet, yeah.
Yeah, kind of a weird choice to make, but all right.
So you poisoned and shot Tupac, not Tupac, Rush Limbaugh.
I did no such thing. Yeah.
The FBI would like to speak with you.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. But,
gosh. What kind of package do you think the Tupac hologram's working with? You think it's hanging? I
don't think they programmed it.
You think they had to have
He's not fully functional, I don't
hog
think.
physics?
No, that's too many teraflops. For that.
Coachella, my nuts are too big. What's going on, Coachella?
He's riding his nuts like a beanbag.
Oh no, hologram Tupac has sepsis.
My 600-pound balls.
You know what happened to hologram Tupac? Because I'm thinking here, what if hologram Tupac technology was like a Tamagotchi?
Oh, and they forgot to feed him.
You feed hologram Tupac little fish food.
Oh, they forgot to feed him.
I forgot to feed hologram Tupac. and how well you take your hologram Tupac when he dies is how many posthumous records you can release.
Oh man, I would have got the high score on that one then.
Would have taken care of it.
What a strange time, because like I said, that list of celebrities that they wanted to do harm to is just like an annoying guy from a commercial.
Yeah,
there was like 3 or 4 different ones. Not all of them were Tom.
We've artificially inseminated the Geico gecko with asbestos.
Well, like 3 of them was the guy from the Verizon commercial who his whole line was, "Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?"
I don't know if anybody remembers how insipid and really painful those commercials were, but they were bad. But like, I'm going to sit here and program a whole game about wanting to blow his head off.
I mean, that's what that is. I mean, Tom Fulp kind of really put it to a point there that celebrity and mass culture was the establishment. Yeah. And the internet gave you a way to give your middle finger to it. And obviously there's different ways of doing that. Yeah. I mean, I prefer this more over what fucking Adbusters did.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think this is a little bit more entertaining.
At very least, yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much it for the Assassin, Brian. Like I said, it's you can find some of them. You go to this fandom site. I'll put it in the show description, and I'll make sure you can get links to it. Play some of them to your heart's content. I got to say, the K-Fed one, probably the best one.
Yeah, and it looks like it was the last one they did. So
yeah, which kind of makes sense. I mean, that was about the time when it's like,
yeah,
am I still doing this? But it's time for Shock.jpg, Brian.
And now, the moment you've all been waiting for.
Shock.jpg.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, baby.
What we got today, Chief?
This one called that'snotsexy.com. Are you familiar with this one? Do you know this
No, I'm not. I'm intrigued.
Prepare your mind. The Crypt Keeper's mama is posting nudes online.
What? I'm so confused by what this is.
It's a very old woman showing hole.
The abstraction of the human body due to her advanced age makes it really hard to understand what is going on here. Yes. And I'm not going to get up and look any closer because I kind of already know this is a devil's chili situation. Oh, thanks. Thanks for all...
I had to. If I'm sitting here staring at it, you have to too. That's the deal.
This looks like something you'd see at like Fright Night at like Six Flags.
Yeah.
Coming out of the barn. Yeah. I mean, it does what it says on the box.
Yeah.
It's
a very old woman's nudes.
Yeah. Looks like something from like the quarantine movies.
Oh yeah, I haven't thought about those in a while. Yeah, but yeah, I'm thinking like Crypt Keeper's mom. That's all I could think of. Because, I mean, for some reason, I guess anonymity, she kept her hair and her eyes covered. So like, hair's up in a little babushka thing, you know, with a little head wrap, and then big sunglasses on, and shot with a real shitty camera, really high flash. She's pale as fuck. You really can't make out what's happening there at first glance.
Yes.
And then you go, oh, that's what that is.
Oh, that's what's going on here. Yeah, that's mildly upsetting.
Kind of the
I'm
point.
glad it's not pee-pee poo-poo.
Yeah, well, see, I was going for something a little different.
Boy.
Yeah, that's not sexy.
I'm glad you didn't show this as Drew toothpaste.
It's time for your mom's favorite part of the show. It's time for the breath mint.
It's time for the breath mint, Brian. Let's not wallow.
Oh, well, I'll save the wallowing for the double header.
Exactly right. That's exactly right. So, everyone's favorite part of the program, of course, the breath mint. I'm going to kick off this week because I found probably my new favorite show. It finished From's great. Doesn't stick the landing on the season 2 ending, but what show ever does. However, and as much as you don't like Taika Waititi, I found yet another one of his shows, Reservation Dog.
You know, I've heard good things about that from people I respect, so I'd probably give it a shot at some point.
Oh, it's a hoot. The first episode alone is really a nice hook. You got a group of kids, they're all on the res, and they're all stealing to get money to move out. They're going, they're leaving home. Then one of them, they have this whole big sequence where they steal a guy's truck, and he's hauling chips, and then they're selling chips in their front yard. And one of the guys starts to real get cold feet about the whole deal and start, you know what? We shouldn't be just stealing from people. We should try to do things differently. And then the show kind of picks up from there. It's a great premise. I love that almost every actor in the show, is First People. I love that there's a lot of representation. There's even like the twins that are like wannabe rappers. It's fucking great. And there's all, the wide diaspora of all the different people out there that are First People, and all like the different cultures. I mean, there's just so many funny bits that are just like he gets hit by a paintball gun and he starts hallucinating like the very stereotypical Native American warrior riding up to him on a horse.
Like something you'd see like on a table at a Mexican restaurant.
Exactly. Yeah. He starts seeing this and then he's like, no, man, I was in the Battle of Little Bighorn, but a fucking horse fell on me and I died right there. So, I mean, it's shit like that. It's just throughout the show.
Sounds like someone's weirder older brother.
Yeah. It really is. But the show is like full of characters like that, so it's a hoot. I'm really enjoying it. Quite a bit.
You know what? I'll give it a shot.
He's hit or miss, Taika Waititi, man. Sometimes he throws bangers out there. I mean, he created What We Do in the Shadows.
Hey, What We Do in the I mean, I haven't kept up with it for a minute, but the first 2 or 3 seasons, I really liked.
Right. So what I'm saying is that, like, you might not care for the pirate one, fine, but I think
What We Do in the Shadows is fantastic, and there's a couple other things that I like that he's done. But
like I said, his hit or miss.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian? What you been up to?
My girlfriend politely coerced me into watching Sweeney Todd a couple weekends ago.
The Tim Burton Sweeney Todd?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, good one.
In a way, it feels very. I want to go back in time and see what the Hot Topic promotional tie-ins were.
Yeah.
Some of the songs are fun. The set design's really great. There are lots of little bits of the production that I enjoy. I do not know if it's greater than the sum of its parts.
That's fair. I mean, the musical itself has a lot of flaws to begin with. So then
the first probably 2 or 3 musical parts have some of the worst lyrics I've ever heard.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's some
theatrical music.
There's some real dogs in there, but
there's also some that are really fucking fun.
Right.
It definitely has some amazing high points. It has some abysmal low points, and my girlfriend's gonna get mad because this is one of her favorite movies. Has Alan Rickman in it.
Yeah, but he's barely in it.
But it's Alan Rickman.
I know. Hey,
I'll take it. I'll take what I can get. Right. And Tim Burton's wife is doing her Bellatrix Lestrange thing.
Yeah,
and it works for the most part, I think.
It also had Sacha Baron Cohen show up.
Sacha Baron Cohen is fantastic.
Again, barely in it, but he gets maybe one part of one song.
He gets one song, but he sticks to landing, I think.
Oh, God, yeah. I mean, the guy's he's amazing.
Yeah. So, like I said, the high points are very high, the low points are very low. I think I hated like the first third, but by the credits roll, I was like, you know what, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt when I saw it in the theater. Yeah, it was very, very much like moment to moment, you're really not sure, but it comes together, and there's it's a fairly satisfying film. It looks nice. Everyone in it is very attractive. There's kind of that nice eye candy in a way.
Sure.
With the exception of the Helena Bonham Carter, whatever the hell they did to her teeth again.
I think she's just British. I mean, I didn't want to say this. So the tie back to something I talked about a week or two ago, photographing the smile.
Okay.
And making jokes on Twitter about the smiling man. Shout out to a friend of the show, Ed Zitron. And I was like, I think I was like messaging with you, like, would it be funny if I got a photo of Tom York smiling?
And of course, you get him sticking his tongue out.
Well, I did. That's the one I published. That's the one I let the world see a little bit of. But so I do have photos of Tom York smiling, but they're not the best angle.
Yeah,
and he has incredibly British teeth, and it's not flaring in a way that I want to put out.
Okay, fair enough.
But I do have photos of Tom York being the smiling man, and maybe one day
I can't wait.
Maybe privately I'll show you.
Okay,
I might share it
great.
with Ed.
Yeah,
just for shits and giggles.
Sure.
But I'm not. It's not something I'm going to put like on like Facebook or Twitter or anything.
Sure. Yeah. That's not a best foot forward type of deal.
Well, yeah, and I'm not even sure if like Tom York himself would take offense to it. But like, it's again.
He's lived with those teeth his whole life. I'm sure he knows what they look like.
It's not like the worst teeth. It's just, again, certain people have good angles. And there are probably many, many angles I photographed him from where I can see his teeth. They do not look particularly awful or offensive or gross or anything negative.
Right.
It's just in those couple shots, like, man, that's a British ass dude. That is a motherfucker. That is a motherfucker that has had his fill of blood pudding in his lifetime.
He's had enough spotted dick to last him a lifetime. Which is actually really good, by the way, if you've never had it.
Also, Sweeney Todd, like Johnny Depp kind of looking a little bit like Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
I don't really like for a number of reasons, particularly the person Marilyn Manson has become.
Fair. That's fair.
And knowing that Johnny Depp is good friends with Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I did like the fact that, in a musical, they're doing a lot of really excessive gore, almost to like a Dario
Comical.
Argento, almost like a Gaio film. Kind of gore.
Some of like I said, the high points are very high.
Yeah,
and the shit that sucks is tough. It's a little cringe.
Yes, chuggy, if you will.
Chuggy, yes.
Which I never thought I'd hear myself say unironically, but here we are.
Yeah, some of the stuff hasn't aged well. I'm sure if I were someone that like did like checkerboard shoelaces in my chunky DCs in 2007, and straightened my hair, I probably would have been over the moon. But I was busy being mad about the Yeah Yeahs not being a good band anymore.
All right.
Oh man. It's Blitz is one of those records that really fucked with me when it came out.
You know, as the years have gone by, I've kind of softened on it. I think.
Oh yeah,
it's
I mean,
fine.
like it's fine now considering what the next record was.
It was a mosquito.
Yeah,
Oh.
and I don't. Have you listened to the new record?
When it first came out and you were talking about it, yeah, but I've pretty much forgotten what it sounds like. So
Oh yeah, like that's like I'm still like playing Scaring the Hose Volume 1 like at least a couple times a week. A lot of the music I've talked about that like I haven't listened to Young the Giant in a second.
Yeah.
But like still listening to Melanie Martinez, still listening to Death Grip, still listening to the Front Bottoms, which I will talk about in a second.
Oh yeah, very excited.
But like that, I mean, they haven't played this market in like 10 years, so I'm not expecting them to. I thought maybe the factory would pick them up, but like St. Louis is a weird market. That was fuck. I don't know if I have anything else for the Breath Mint.
Okay. Well, I do have one more thing.
Go for it, Chief.
I finished Yakuza Like a Dragon. Huge game. Took forever to beat. But I'm really glad I did. It was a really fun ride, and I'm really excited because they're bringing back Ichiban, whatever the fuck his first name is. They're bringing back the same character from Yakuza Like a Dragon to a new one called Yakuza Dragon like Infinite Money or something, where he washes up on the beach in Hawaii, which is just fucking perfect. And I'm really glad they're taking the franchise new places, so that's kind of cool. And then I went and there was a buy one get one somewhere. I think it was GameStop had a buy one get one, and so I picked up Live Alive, which is a Square Enix 2D HD remake of a Super Nintendo JRPG that never got released in the United States.
I heard it's phenomenal.
That is a hell of a ride, but I've only gotten just a little bit through that one. But what really caught me was Steel Rising, a little known game company called Spiders. Never heard of these folks before, but they have this game where you play as a a French Revolution era automaton as a robot.
Right.
And you are fighting King Louis's other army of automatons. And it's right out of the Souls playbooks, right out of Bloodborne. You look around and but they also include, like, there's several big bosses you beat. Kind of like how in Dark Souls 2 they had the Lord Souls. Like there were certain bosses that were bigger than others.
Right.
So these are called Titans, and if you beat a Titan, you get a special ability, which in true Metroidvania style allows you to add a new traversal mechanic or open areas you weren't able to access before.
Open the doors.
Yeah.
To have the pancake on them.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, this one it's a fleur-de-lis, but it's the same thing. But yeah, so you can use those same abilities in combat. It's way good. I'm enjoying the hell out of it, but I get the feeling that it is a short game because I'm only 5 or 6 hours in, and I feel like I'm at the end game already. I feel like once I get through the Bastille, that it's going to be like, okay, now it's time to attack the king or whatever. And so it's an alternate history. It's set in France. The characters speak a weird British accented French. It's mostly English, but every once in a while they'll slip a French phrase in there just to remind you that you're in France. And then in parentheses, in the subtitles, it'll have the the translation of what you're saying. Oh, mon Dieu. My God. Like, yeah, I know, fucking mon Dieu. Come on, man. Give me a hard one. But so one section has you clearing out a convent and getting all these religious figures together so they can plan their next part. It does have actual historical figures. You meet and speak to Robespierre, so that's kind of fun. And then some people that may not necessarily be exactly how they were in actual French history, but it's interesting because the game starts you off. You're just the bodyguard for Marie Antoinette, and then you escape Versailles and go on to find the king and what's happening, and you're kind of unearthing all this mystery. It's kind of fun. It has a lot of that Souls vibe. You die, you lose your stuff, and again, a lot of these things are real familiar. And there's going to be one or two bosses when you first start out that you will have to beat your head against the wall, because that's just how these things go.
Yeah.
It's real stingy with healing items. I will say that. That is the one thing that really cheeses me off, is that it's real stingy with healing items. And then any special abilities you have uses it's called alchemical something, pellets or something. And it's like, oh, great. Yet another thing I have to keep track of in the middle of combat with, all these giant robots beating my ass. So it's fun, but it's also frustrating. It's a proper Souls game. It does have that grimy Bloodborne feel to it. All the other robots you fight are real clunky, and they telegraph their moves really well, so it's real easy to read even when it's dark and they're kind of in shadow. So it's a fun one. I'm enjoying it, but I have a feeling like it's going to be a short game. It's going to be one of those shorties.
All right, you think it's ready to wrap it up?
Oh, I was just looking ahead so I could be ready.
Let's do it. Let's fucking. Right. I'm done. Fucking R.I.P. Tater Tot. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Well, that is about that time of the show where we tell you where to find us on the old social medias. Brian, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. If you want to harass me or tell me the kiss piss, you can find me at iShotGuideboard, ISHOTGUIDBORD, DEBORD.
There you go.
On Instagram, Twitter, and Blue Sky, which I found out this morning my ex has already blocked me on.
Perfect. You don't have to interact with him. It's fine.
Yeah,
it's fine.
That was one of those weird things of like, I don't know why your current partner showed up in like my recommended for you feed. And then I'm like, oh, I wonder what my ex, oh, wow. I've only made like 10 skeets. It's like one of those things where like, wow, okay, I guess you do hate me. Like, I don't have to wonder now. It's like one of those things where it's like, well, I can finally
easy.
Yeah, I can finally get rid of this jacket. Yep. I'm never gonna be this skinny again.
Not happening. You can also find Brian's photography
at assholemusicphotographer.com. And if you want to check out the photos with the words. Ooh, fancy. You can do both things. You can have your eyes go up and down in all different directions, and then from left to right. Ooh. And then you can read some very, very tortured prose from yours truly at amusicphotographer.com. And you can always check out some of my stuff and stuff from some other folks in St. Louis who do very nice work over at theartsstl.com. And Jason, where can they tell you, where can they ask you what kind of sack you're working with?
Yeah, shoot me a DM at Video Crime on most social medias. That includes Twitter, Blue Sky, and various other places. With the exception, of course, of TikTok and Instagram. There I am at Laser Goose CEO. That's laser with an S, you Philistines. Laser does not have a Z in it. Anyway, you can find the show 48 Minutes of Dogs on Twitter and various other social medias. You can also give us a call, 314-246-9766. That's 314-AHOY POO. You can also shoot us an email, Jason at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com, Brian with a Y at 48minutesofdogsbarking.com, and you can support the show, patreon.com/48minutesofdogs. Well, that about does for the program. We're going to leave you a little bit of music from a band that I really like a whole lot called Slothrust. Yeah, song's called Surf Goth from their album Everyone Else. We will see you, as they say, on the flip-flop. Namaste. Good luck.
Bye-bye.
Bye.